Welcome to this one-day match between West Indies and Australia at Westpac Stadium, Wellington. So the outcome is that Lara has won the toss and elected to field. Well, that's an interesting decision. We'll have to wait and see if it was the right one. Jim Maxwell is with me in the commentary box for this game. You were out in the middle earlier, Jim. How did the pitch look then?
Thanks, Richie. The pitch has had some rain on it recently and it's looking pretty damp. The bounce will be low and the ball won't come onto the bat, so the batsman must watch the length carefully. Runs will be hard to come by because the outfield is very slow.
Here come the teams. So let's take a look at the teams. Here's the team for West Indies: Lara, Gale, Chanderford, Samuels, Sawan, Jacobs, Hines, Drakes, Banks, Dillon and Kafu. And here's the lineup for Australia: Hayden, Ponting, Bevan, Lehman, Martin, Gilchrist, Harvey, Bickle, Gillespie, McGill and McGrath. Australia are about to start their innings.
Great catch. That was a bad shot. He really seemed to lose concentration.
Cuffy gets his first wicket. This was how the innings ended for Hayden. Hayden is out first ball.
Out first ball. He'll remember that for a long while.
Bevan is the new batsman. Cuffy to Bevan. Good stroke for 4. That's the first boundary of the innings for Australia.
He played that shot to perfection.
Bevan facing. Cuffy to bowl to Bevan. Gone over the top of that and it looks like 4 runs. Bevan very quickly onto that one.
What a good placement. No one at home, over the top for 4.
Bevan waiting at the striker's end. Gale is in pursuit, cut away. Fielded by Gale. They've turned that into 2, that's good running. Bevan waiting at the striker's end. X is chasing that one. Safely taken by X.
An early wicket like that can really put the pressure on the batting team.
Cuffy gets his second wicket. This was how the wicket fell. Bevan goes for only 10. Lehman is the new batsman for Australia. And the end of the over. It's a fantastic strike. Ponting absolutely smashed that for 6.
The bowler can't believe it, but it is out of the ground. 6 runs.
Two for 16. Ponting facing. It's straight at Gale. Dillon to bowl to Ponting. He's got that one over the infield and away for 4. Dillon is not impressed.
What a clever piece of batting. He picked a safe area and just lifted it over the infield.
The total is now 2 for 20. Ponting facing. It's straight to a fielder. Dillon to Ponting. Cuffy is after it. Cuffy out at long off. Two more to Ponting. Australia are 2 for 22. Dillon to bowl to Ponting. Stopped by Samuels. 11 runs came from that over for Australia. Cuffy to begin a new over. That was just a kitten's whisker away from the stumps. Lehman waiting at the striker's end. Stopped in the covers. Continues. An easy single there to Lehman. At the start of his run-up. Stopped by Drakes. Facing. Banks is after that one. The fielder will cut that off. Banks cuts that off. Another run to Ponting. With the final ball of his spell. Two runs came from that over. Ponting is now facing. Dillon continues. That's over the infield and racing away for four.
The bowlers really need to keep it tight at this stage of the match.
Australia move on to 28. Ponting waiting at the striker's end. Comfortably held by Hines.
Straight down the fielder's throat. The batsman will be kicking himself.
Dillon gets his first wicket. This was the end of the innings for Ponting. Australia are 3 down now for 28. Martin comes in at number 5. Dillon to Martin. He's cleared the infield, 4 runs. That's the first boundary for Martin.
Well, he just got away with it. Risky shot. I'd recommend keeping the ball on the ground at this stage.
Three, now for 32. Dillon continues. Dillon continues. Flicked off his legs. Just 1 run. That over cost 9 runs. Martin facing. Stopped in the covers. Breaks the ball to Martin. That's over the rope. 6 runs off Drakes. Drakes won't like that at all.
Well, he just picked that right off his nose and smashed it over the boundary. Thrilling to watch.
Martin waiting at the striker's end. That's cleared the rope. 6 runs.
Well, you can't set fields for shots like that. That's brilliant.
Martin waiting at the striker's end. Up and over and 4 runs. Super shot by Martin.
Well, he just got away with it. Risky shot. I'd recommend keeping the ball on the ground at this stage.
Breaks to bowl to Martin.
Cleared the infield.
The 50 is up for Australia.
He hit that over the field superbly.
Australia have taken their total on to 3 for 53. Martin facing. Goes over the top. Really struck that well.
The bowler needs to avoid giving away boundaries, so he must keep it tight. West Indies are about to make a change in the bowling. Banks to Lehman. Hines is chasing that one. What an amazing catch. That was a loose shot. Will be kicking himself about that one.
Banks gets his first wicket. Let's take a look at that in slow motion. So then, that's the end of Lehman. Gilchrist facing. That's over the rope. 6 runs off X. The bowler won't like that one a little bit.
He hardly seemed to hit it, but it's gone for 6.
They have 6 wickets in hand. Banks to Gilchrist. Banks the ball to Gilchrist. Cuffy is after that one. It's great at Cuffy. A single to Gilchrist. Over the top of that, and it looks like 4 runs. Martin very quickly onto that one.
A bit uppish, but safe enough. 4 runs.
Martin waiting at the striker's end. He smacked that over the top and been rewarded with 4.
He should be looking to bowl a tighter line at this stage.
That's the end of the 5th over. Drakes to bowl the last of his allotted overs. There it goes, right out of the ground. That was still going up as it cleared the rope.
The bowler won't like that one little bit.
A straight out move on to 78. Drakes the bowl to Gilchrist. In the air, but it's 4 runs. Drakes is not impressed.
Well, it was in the air, but there's no one there. No risk.
For 82. Drakes to Gilchrist. Samuels is in pursuit, collected by Samuels. There's just one there. Australia are 4 for 83. Drakes continues. Over the top and away for 4.
He scores a lot of his runs through the covers. Now for 87. Martin facing. Safely taken by Samuels. The batsman will be kicking himself over that. It wasn't a great shot and he looked to be in good form.
Drakes gets his first wicket. This was how the innings ended for Martin. Martin is making his way back to the pavilion.
He looked to be in good form out there. He really should have built on that good start.
Harvey is the new batsman for Australia. Breaks with the final ball of his spell. That's over the rope. 6 runs off Breaks. Harvey absolutely smashed that for 6.
His cover driving is a joy to watch at times.
That over helped the run rate somewhat. Banks to begin a new over. Banks to continue with his off-spin. Fielded by the man at long on. Another run to Gilchrist. Australia have taken their total on to 5 for 94. Harvey facing. Drakes is after it. Drakes doing the fielding. An easy single there to Harvey. The total is now 5 for 95. Banks continues. It's high in the air. It was really well judged. It went a long way up.
Well held by the fielder there. That took a long time to come down.
Banks gets his second wicket. We can have a look at that again. Gilchrist has gone for 19. Bickle comes in at number 8. Banks to Bickle. That's over the infield and racing away for 4. Perfectly timed shot for 4.
The bowlers really need to keep it tight at this stage of the match.
Six for 99. Banks to continue with his off-spin. That moves the score into three figures for Australia. 7 runs came from that over by Banks. There's a change in the bowling for West Indies. Bickle is now facing. Stopped by Sawan. Hines to bowl to Bickle. Well taken.
It might have looked easy, but it wasn't.
Hines gets his first wicket. This was the end of the innings for Bickle. Australia are 7 down now for 100.
Well, they're through to the tail now and should tie up the innings quickly.
Gillespie is the next man in. Hines to bowl to Gillespie. Brings up the 100 for Australia.
The bowler needs to avoid giving away boundaries, so he must keep it tight.
Gillespie facing. Hines to Gillespie. He's taken the aerial route there. 4 runs. Australia have taken their total on to 108.
What a good placement. No one at home, over the top for 4.
Gillespie waiting at the striker's end. Runs came from that over. Harvey to face an over of spin. That's in the stands. 6 runs. Australia move on to 4.
Exciting stuff. He took a risk, but was well rewarded as the ball disappeared over the fence. They have 3 wickets in hand.
Gale to Harvey. That's a big hit. It'll go all the way. Australia move on to 120.
He really loves to drive the ball, especially through the covers.
He's struck 2 6s now off this over from Harvey. Harvey facing. He's got hold of that one, out of the ground. Australia have taken their total on to 126.
Well, he really hit that a long way. Exciting stuff.
Australia are 7 for 126. Gale, the ball to Harvey. Australia have taken their total on to 127. There's 3 boundaries off this over from Harvey. He smacked that over the top and been rewarded with 4. Australia move on to 131.
He should be looking to bowl a tighter line at this stage.
Now for 131. Jacobs is chasing that one. The innings has ended with a score at 132. West Indies require 133 to win. That's cleared the rope. 6 runs. That's the first boundary of the innings for West Indies.
The fielder just watched it. Going, going, going.
So they need 127 to win from 59 balls. McGrath to Lara. Lively delivery by McGrath. 127 runs required. Lara waiting at the striker's end. It's straight to a fielder. Facing. That's over the rope. 6 runs off McGrath. Lara moves into double figures with those runs.
The bowler won't like that one little bit.
McGrath to bowl to Lara. It's great at Lehman. West Indies require 121 to win. McGrath to Lara. And that's out. Caught by Gillespie.
Well, that early wicket will put the pressure on the batting team.
McGrath gets his first wicket. This was how the wicket fell. Lara scored 12 runs from 6 balls. Chandapal comes in at number 3. Runs were picked up from that over by Lara. The required run rate is around 13 and over.
He didn't keep it very tight during that over at all.
Gale facing. Stopped in the covers. Waiting at the striker's end. That's over the rope. 6 runs off Gillespie. You hardly seem to hit that, yet it sailed over the ropes.
That was a super shot. I really didn't think it was too bad a ball.
West Indies have taken their total on to 1 for 18. Gillespie to bowl to Gale. That's gone a long way. We're diving for cover with that one.
Well, you can't set fields for shots like that. That's brilliant.
Gillespie to Gale. That's a huge 6. Gillespie won't like that at all.
What an effortless shot. Brilliant.
Facing. is an excellent shot by Gale.
That was a poor ball and it got the treatment it deserved.
West Indies move on to 34. Gale waiting at the striker's end. It's gone way into the stands. 6 runs. Gale absolutely smashed that for 6.
That's a demoralising sight for any bowler, seeing the ball sail over the fence.
That over helped the run rate somewhat. The required run rate is around 11.5 and over. Chandapol is now facing. Three runs required. McGrath to bowl to Chandapol. Gillespie is in pursuit. That's 2 more runs on the board. McGrath continues. Hayden is after that one. He's worked that into the gap. Couple there to Chandapol, so they need 89 to win from 45 balls. McGrath at the start of his run-up. One run to Chandapol. McGrath to Gale. Bickle is after it. Just 1 run. McGrath with the final ball of his spell. stopped by Hayden. 6 runs came from that over by McGrath. The required run rate is around 12 and over.
This is a reasonably level-headed run chase by the West Indies.
Gillespie to begin a new over. That's cleared the infield. The 50 is up for West Indies.
Well, he just got away with it. Risky shot. I'd recommend keeping the ball on the ground at this stage.
Gillespie continues. That's a fantastic strike.
For the crowd, the hook is a spectacular action shot.
West Indies will be pleased with the progress they've made so far. That's over the rope. 6 runs off Gillespie. This second wicket pair have moved their partnership on to 50.
Great strike. It looked like 6 the moment he struck it.
One for 62. Gillespie to bowl to Gale. McGill is after it, straight through the covers. Another run to Gale. Gillespie continues. West Indies require 70 to win. Chandapal facing. Run goes over the top. Really struck that well.
The bowler needs to avoid giving away boundaries, so he must keep it tight.
"21 runs came from that over. The required run rate is around 11 and over. We're about to have a change of bowling with the leg spinner McGill to bowl his leg spin. Yes. The batsman will have to run these. One more for Gale. McGill to bowl his wrist spin. Out.
The bowler really made a mess of the stumps there.
McGill gets his first wicket. This was how the innings ended for Chanderpaul. West Indies, 2 down now for 68. Samuels comes in at number 4. McGill to Samuels. Must be close. The umpire raised his finger and he's out.
That was a tough decision for the umpire.
McGill gets his second wicket. This was the end of the innings for Samuels. Samuels makes his way back to the dressing room.
He hasn't managed to make the scorers work much with that innings.
The next man in is Sawan. McGill to bowl his wrist spin. It's straight at Martin. West Indies require 65 to win. McGill to bowl his leg spin. There's just one there. McGrath is chasing that one. The sweeper picks up. They've turned that into 2, that's good running. 3 bowlers have now been used by Ponting. Australia are about to make a change in the bowling. Bickle to bowl to Sawan. So 1, facing. Hit straight to a fielder. 62 runs required. Bickle to Sawan. So they need 62 to win from 27 balls. So 1, waiting at the striker's end. Gone, caught.
A slight fumble, but safely taken in the end.
Bickle gets his first wicket. Let's see the action replay of that. So 1 goes for only 1. Jacobs comes in at number 6. Bickle to bowl to Jacobs. Bevan is after that one. Bevan out at long on. An easy single there to Jacobs. A very good over. Only 1 offered in the end. The required run rate is around 15 and over.
They are meant to be chasing a total, but all they're doing right now is falling behind.
McGill to bowl the last of his allotted overs.
The bowler doesn't look too happy about that one. Missed fields are infuriating for a bowler.
Stopped by Harvey. McGill to bowl to Jacobs. McGill to bowl his wrist spin. It's gone way into the stands. 6 runs. That's the first boundary for Jacobs.
His straight driving is perfect at times.
McGill to Jacobs. There's a no ball by McGill. Hit straight to a fielder. McGill continues. That's a big hit. It's 6. That came right off the middle of the bat.
He really is very good straight down the ground.
That's the second 6 from the over. McGill to bowl his leg spin. Smashed that one right out of the ground. That easily cleared the boundary.
The straight drive is his favourite shot, and it shows.
McGill with the final ball of his spell. Runs came from that over for West Indies. The required run rate is around 14 and over. Bickle to begin a new over. Runs required. Gale facing. Just one run. The total is now 4 for 92. Bickle to bowl to Jacobs. Hit straight to a fielder. West Indies require 41 to win. Jacobs waiting at the striker's end. Safely taken by McGill.
Excellent catch. The batsman can't believe he held on to that.
Bickle gets his second wicket. This was the end of the innings for Jacobs. So then, that's the end of Jacobs. Harvey is in pursuit. One run to Hines. That's found the gap in the field. Another run to Gale. That over cost 3 runs. The required run rate is around over 15 and over.
West Indies have a target to chase here today, but you wouldn't know it, judging by their current run rate.
Stopped in the covers. So they need 39 to win from 11 balls. Harvey to Gale. Harvey had the batsman in trouble with that one. They have 5 wickets in hand. That's wonderful bowling from Harvey. So they need 39 to win from 9 balls. Gale waiting at the striker's end. Cleared the infield, 4 runs. Harvey is not impressed.
The bowler needs to avoid giving away boundaries, so he must keep it tight.
.35 runs required. Gale facing. That's over the rope. 6 runs off Harvey. West Indies move on to 104.
Well, you can't set fields for shots like that. That's brilliant.
Harvey the ball to Gale. Comfortably held by Hayden.
It might have looked easy, but it wasn't.
Harvey gets his first wicket. This was how the wicket fell. Gale is making his way back to the pavilion.
That was a really valuable not for.
Hines to face an over of spin. That's cleared the infield. That's the first boundary for Hines.
He picked it up nicely, and it's got him 4.
Hines waiting at the striker's end.
That was a bad shot. He really seemed to lose concentration.
Lehman gets his first wicket. This was how the innings ended for Hines. Hines scored 5 runs from 3 balls.
That's a long walk back when you haven't scored many runs.
He's got that one over the infield and away for 4. Banks very quickly onto that one.
He should be looking to bowl a tighter line at this stage.
West Indies are 7 for 112. Banks facing. Great catch.
Superb stuff. What a catch. That'll give his team a huge boost.
Lehman gets his second wicket. Let's see the action replay of that. Banks goes for only 4.
He's classified as a tail-end batsman, and you can understand that after watching that innings.
Martin is chasing that one. There's 2 more runs on the board. Lehman bowled the last ball of the innings. Wide ball signalled by the umpire.
You can't get away with any width in one-day cricket because the umpire will call you for a wide.
West Indies have taken their total on to 8 for 115. Dillon facing. That's over the rope. 6 runs off Lehman. That's the first boundary for Dillon.
Exciting stuff. He took a risk, but was well rewarded as the ball disappeared over the fence.
Australia have won. To sum up then, Australia win by 11 runs. Welcome to this one-day match between Sri Lanka and England at Auckland. The outcome is that Tilakaratne has won the toss and elected to field. Well, that's an interesting decision. We'll have to wait and see if it was the right one. Jim Maxwell is with me in the commentary box for this game, and you had a look at the pitch a little earlier, Jim. How was it?
Thanks very much, Richie. This pitch is perfect for batting. Hard and true. The ball should come onto the bat perfectly and enable the batsmen to really go for their shots. It could be a long match for the bowlers.
The teams are making their way onto the pitch and the crowd is giving them a warm welcome. So let's take a look at the teams. Here's the team for Sri Lanka: Jayasuriya, Tilakaratne, Jayawardene, Sangakkara, Arnold, Russ, Samarawira, Chandana, Muralitharan, Fernando and Nissanka. And here's the lineup for England: Vaughan, Flintoff, Thorpe, Hussain, Solanki, Reid, Butcher, Collingwood, Giles, Caddick and Harmison. England are about to start their innings. Facing. Big shout for that one. He's out.
That was a good decision by the umpire under a lot of pressure.
Russ gets his first wicket. This was the end of the innings for Vaughan. Vaughan is out for a duck.
Well, he certainly wasn't out in the middle for very long.
Thorpe is the new batsman. Voss to Thorpe. Up very early by Thorpe.
Yes, that was a lovely shot. He will have enjoyed that one.
Thorpe waiting at the striker's end. Voss had the batsman in trouble with that one. Voss to bowl to Thorpe. Shot. Cut that one with great power.
That was good cricket from the batsman. He placed it, didn't try to hit it too hard.
Thorpe waiting at the striker's end. Eight runs came from that over. Flintoff is now facing. Chandana is after that one, flicked off his legs. Fielded on the boundary by Chandana. There's just one there. Nisanka to bowl to Thorpe. He's got that one over the infield and away for four. Super shot by Thorpe.
What a good placement. No one at home, over the top for four.
Thorpe facing. There should be some runs here. Another single to Thorpe. Flintoff facing. Nisanka to Flintoff. Stopped by Arnold. Flintoff waiting at the striker's end. Great shot by Flintoff. That's the first boundary for Flintoff.
It's tough for the bowlers on a pitch like this, as there really is no margin for error.
Runs came from that over by Nisanka. To begin a new over. He smashed that away. He was onto that in a flash.
What an exciting square cut. He hit it really hard and the ball just crashed into the cover boundary.
Continues. Stroke through the covers. An easy single there to Thorpe. England move on to 23. Voss at the start of his run-up. Fernando is after it. Just one run. 1 now for 24. Voss to bowl to Thorpe. Pitch straight to a fielder. Voss to Thorpe. Played into the gap. Great stop. One run to Thorpe. 1 for 25. Voss continues. And the end of the over. Nissanka to bowl the last of his allotted overs. That's gone high in the air. That was well held. It was in the air a long time.
That was a lazy shot. He didn't get over it at all.
Nissanka gets his first wicket. We can have a look at that again. So then, that's the end of Thorpe. Hussain comes in at number 4. Hussain facing. That's cleared the infield. Those are the first runs for Hussain.
Well, he just got away with it. Risky shot. I'd recommend keeping the ball on the ground at this stage.
England have taken their total on to 2 for 29. Nissanka continues. He's racing away to the square leg boundary. That was beautifully turned off his legs before.
He really needs to concentrate on line and length right now to keep the runs down.
Nisanka to bowl to Hussain. Pushed into the gap. That's racing away to the cover boundary. Hussain moves into double figures with those runs.
That is a classic cover drive. Foot to the pitch of the ball and it's disappeared for 4.
Nisanka to Hussain. Nisanka with the final ball of his spell. Sangakkara is chasing that one. A single to Hussain. That over cost 13 runs. There's a change in the bowling with the off-spin of Muralitharan. Hussain to face an over of spin. The batsman will have to run these. There's just one there. Muralitharan to bowl to Flintoff. That's over the rope. 6 runs off Muralitharan. Flintoff absolutely smashed that for 6.
What an effortless shot. Brilliant.
Muralitharan to Flintoff. Hit straight at Arnold. Flintoff waiting at the striker's end. Muralitharan to bowl to Flintoff. The umpire is calling for the third umpire. That's the red light. He's out. Flintoff is making his way back to the pavilion. Solanke comes in at number 5. Five overs are left in the innings. We're about to see a change in the bowling. Hussain facing. Hussain facing. Fernando is in pursuit. That's found the gap in the field. Fernando reaches it before it crosses the boundary. One more to Hussain. Arnold is after that one. Just one run. Hussain waiting at the striker's end. Confident appeal. The umpire raised his finger and he's out.
A difficult decision for the umpire there.
Jayasuriya gets his first wicket. This was the end of the innings for Hussain. Hussain scored 15 runs from 9 balls.
I don't think he agrees with the umpire's decision.
Reid is the new batsman for England. Jayasuriya to Reid. Chandana is not going to reach that. The 50 is up for England.
That was good batting. He picked his spot, didn't try to smash it, just stroked it through the gap.
Reid facing. is Sanka, is chasing that one. It's beaten the fielder, but it won't go all the way. The sweeper picks up. One run to Reed.
England are really taking the attack up to the bowlers, and the run rate reflects this.
Muralitharan to continue with his off-spin. He's cleared the infield, 4 runs. Muralitharan is not impressed.
He hit that over the field superbly.
Muralitharan to Reed. Fernando is after it. He's worked that into the gap. That's cut off by Fernando. A single to Reed. There it goes. And safe. Just 1 run. They have 6 wickets in hand. Muralitharan to continue with his off-spin. Muralitharan to bowl to Reed. Another run to Reed. Muralitharan continues. Nice shot, but it won't make it to the boundary. There's just 1 there.
This is what you'd call a healthy run rate. We'll see if they can carry it throughout the innings.
Jayasuriya to begin a new over. In the air and gone.
Straight down the fielder's throat. The batsman will be kicking himself.
Jayasuriya gets his second wicket. This was how the innings ended for Solanki. Solanki goes for only 3.
Well, it seems like miles back to the pavilion when you've got out cheaply.
Butcher is the next batsman in. Jayasuriya to bowl to Butcher. Cut away. Now that saved a certain boundary. An easy single there to Butcher. Comfortably held by Sangakkara.
A slight fumble, but safely taken in the end.
Jayasuriya gets his third wicket. We can have a look at that again. So then, that's the end of Reed. Collingwood is the next man in. Jayasuriya to Collingwood. He's taken the aerial route there. 4 runs. That's the first boundary for Collingwood.
The bowler needs to avoid giving away boundaries, so he must keep it tight.
England have taken their total on to 6 for 65. Collingwood facing. That was athletic fielding by Samarawira. A single to Collingwood. Great catch.
Very safely taken. Soft hands, that's what's important.
Jayasuriya gets his 4th wicket. Let's take a look at that in slow motion. England are 7 down now for 66.
Now we're down to 9-10 Jack.
And the end of the over. Collingwood to face an over of spin. Muralitharan is in pursuit. There's just one there. There are only 3 wickets left now. Chandana to bowl his leg spin. Chandana to bowl his leg spin. One run to Childs. Collingwood facing. That's a huge six. Collingwood absolutely smashed that for six.
Another one of those, and this bowler could be out of the attack.
Chandana to bowl his wrist spin. And that's out. Caught by Jayawardene.
Well taken. He never looked like dropping it.
Chandana gets his first wicket. This was the end of the innings for Collingwood. England are 8 down now for 74. The next batsman in is a right-handed Caddick. And the end of the over. Sri Lanka are about to make a change in the bowling. Fernando to bowl to Childs. He goes over the top. Giles very quickly onto that one.
He should be looking to bowl a tighter line at this stage.
England are 8 for 78. Giles waiting at the striker's end.
Run!
Oh, what a catch.
Well, he just picked the fielder out perfectly with that shot.
Fernando gets his first wicket. This was how the innings ended for Childs. Giles scored 5 runs from 5 balls.
He's classified as a tail-end batsman, and you can understand that after watching that innings.
The next man in is Harmison. Fernando to Harmison. Harmison facing. He smacked that over the top and been rewarded with 4. Crowd were brought to their feet by that shot.
A bit uppish, but safe enough, 4 runs.
Fernando to bowl to Harmison. They have 1 wickets in hand. Fernando to bowl the last ball of the innings. That's a big hit. It's 6.
The bowler won't like that one little bit.
That brings the innings to a close with a total at 9 for 88. Sri Lanka require 89 to win. To Jayasuriya. Great shot by Jayasuriya. Picked up very early by Jayasuriya.
That is a classic cover drive. Foot to the pitch of the ball and it's disappeared for 4.
85 runs required. Jayasuriya waiting at the striker's end. Just 1 run. Hit straight to a fielder. Sri Lanka require 84 to win. To Tilakaratne. Yes. Super shot by Tilakaratne. Tilakaratne facing. Parmesan is after it. That's cut off by Parmesan. An easy single there to Tilakaratne. 10 runs came from that over by Caddick. The required run rate is around 8.5 and over.
The fielding restrictions provide the opportunity for attacking batsmen to score some fast early runs.
Tilakaratne is now facing. Stopped by Hussain. Tilakaratne facing. Hit straight at Butcher. Parmesan to Tilakaratne. That's run away and could well go for 4. He found the gap with precision.
There's a perfect example of how to play that shot. He deserved 4 runs for it.
Parmesan to bowl to Tilakaratne. Played into the gap. Butcher was not going to reach that. That was a wonderfully timed straight drive.
Lovely shot. It raced away to the fence for 4.
The total is now 18. Tilakaratne waiting at the striker's end. Just 1 run. Jayasuriya facing. That's speeding to the boundary. Parmesan is not impressed.
Poor bowling. His captain won't be too happy with him after that delivery. Runs were picked up from that over by Jayasuriya. The required run rate is around 8 and over. Caddick to bowl the last of his allotted overs. He's taken the aerial route there. 4 runs. That takes his score to 18.
Well, he just got away with it. Risky shot. I'd recommend keeping the ball on the ground at this stage.
Sri Lanka have taken their total on to 27. Caddick continues. Collingwood is chasing that one. Another run to Tilakaratne. Caddick to bowl to Jayasuriya. Hit straight to a fielder. Caddick at the start of his run-up. He's got onto that one. Hit down the ground beautifully by Jayasuriya.
Yes, that was a lovely shot. He will have enjoyed that one.
Caddick to Jayasuriya. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. That'll be 4 more for Jayasuriya.
Well, that was a classic cover drive. A masterful shot, one the spectators love to see.
Caddick with the final ball of his spell. That's over the rope. 6 runs off Caddick. Jayasuriya absolutely smashed that for 6.
He really loves to drive the ball, especially through the covers.
And the end of the over. The required run rate is around 6.5 and over. Tilakaratne waiting at the striker's end.
Run!
Tilakaratne has now moved into the 20s.
He really needs to concentrate on line and length right now to keep the runs down.
Harmison continues. Harmison to bowl to Tilakaratne. Another single to Tilakaratne. Sri Lanka have taken their total on to 47. Harmison continues. Thorpe is after that one, pushed through the covers. The sweeper picks up. A couple there to Jayasuriya, so they need 40 to win from 38 balls. Jayasuriya facing. Sri Lanka more or less need a run a ball now. Harmison continues. Run! That was athletic fielding by Butcher. The 50 is up for Sri Lanka. 2 runs came from that over. The required run rate is around 6.5 and over.
They've been riding above the run rate required so far. Good batting by Sri Lanka.
Change in the bowling for England. Collingwood to Jayasuriya. Flicked off his legs. A single to Jayasuriya. Sri Lanka will be pleased with the start to the innings. Yes! Nice shot, but it won't make it to the boundary. There's just one there. Jayasuriya waiting at the striker's end. There should be some runs here. 4 runs to Jayasuriya. He struck that straight down the ground.
Magnificent shot. The on drive is one of the hardest shots to play, and he's one of the great exponents of it.
The score score is now 56. Jayasuriya facing. Pushed into the gap. That'll be 4 more to the total. It really was a classic cover drive.
He loves to play the ball through the covers.
Collingwood to Jayasuriya. Thorpe is in pursuit. One run to Jayasuriya. Collingwood to bowl to Tilakaratne. Hit straight at Butcher. 5 overs are left for Sri Lanka. The required run rate is around 5.5 and over.
His skipper won't be too pleased with him after that over.
There's a change in the bowling with the off-spin of Vaughan. Jayasuriya to face an over of spin. Giles is after it. Giles out there in the deep. Two more for Jayasuriya. Jayasuriya waiting at the striker's end. He's worked that into the gap. Oh, that's a really superb shot. Jayasuriya very quickly onto that one.
The batsman wasn't going to miss that opportunity. He was on it in a flash.
Vaughan to Jayasuriya. We're going to need the third umpire for this one. That's the red light. He's out. Jayasuriya scored 42 runs from 18 balls.
He survived the difficult part and got his eye in only to lose concentration.
The next batsman is Jayawardene. Vaughan to bowl to Jayawardene. reach that. He found the gap with precision.
That was a poor ball and it got the treatment it deserved.
Wardner facing. Wardner facing. He smacked that over the top and been rewarded with 4. Well, that isn't the place to bowl at this batsman.
The bowler needs to avoid giving away boundaries, so he must keep it tight.
That over eased the pressure on the batting team. The required run rate is around 3.5 and over. Just 1 run. The total is now 1 for 76. Collingwood continues. Solanke is after it.
Yeah.
One more to Wardner. Collingwood to Tilakaratne. Fielder will cut that off. An easy single there to Tilakaratne. 11 runs required. Wardner waiting at the striker's end. That's out of the ground. He smashed that away. That was a brilliant hook shot.
What a good hook shot. Got on top of it, kept it down and beat the fielder too.
Wardner facing. Solanke out at long off. That's 2 more runs on the board. That's it. That's the end of the match. So to sum up then, Sri Lanka win by 9 wickets.